car, I be on job and I put it on God, they ain't nobody stopping me.
Whatever training program you're using, if it's not Sentinel training, you're wasting your time. HWPO doesn't PO. Proven, well, proven is actually okay, but ours is better. Get some GPP in your life, uncle. We program fun and challenging workouts and preserve the most effective cure for and barrier against chronic disease. We review your workouts and give feedback and spend hours getting the workouts right. Sign up now at trainsentinel.com. If you don't, well, then everything they say about you is true, you concubine.
Is that your first time seeing that ad, Mike?
It is, yeah. It's obviously not hitting the right people. The targeted ads, you know.
No. They got loads of Indian signups.
Did they really?
No, they fucking didn't. Look at this though, look. New sponsor. In the center there.
Yeah,
Biomax
nice,
Peptides.
Nice.
I think if you go to biomaxpeptides.com and if you use CPW, like the code, you get free shipping. And I didn't realize this. They actually ship everywhere. So I was like, oh, I wouldn't mind trying a bit of peptides.
Right. Because you're not competing, obviously.
Yeah. But I was like, okay, thanks, Mike. I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to be able to get them because I live in Ireland. And I asked Sarah and she's like, no, we ship everywhere. So I assumed it was just North America, which I'd say a lot of people assume. So yeah, if you go to biomaxpeptides.com and use CPW, you get free shipping. So if you're in like Uzbekistan and you're short of it, they probably have no shortage of it.
I was going to say, I'm not sure your country of choice. I don't think.
Yeah.
Sure.
If you're from Russia,
yeah,
and you're looking to make the Olympic weightlifting team,
Stan.
Yeah.
They supply Biomax. That's what you didn't realize.
That's where they get them from. That's where they get them from. And I didn't realize this about peptides. Did you know that peptides come in powder form? It's like IKEA. Like it comes, you have to mix it, you have to make it yourself. So you get a powder and you get this, it's called bariostatic water, which I assume just means like crazy clean because you're putting it inside your like butt cheek or your leg or whatever. But you have to like mix it yourself. You're like a little chemist. It's like a mini episode of Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. No, I didn't actually know that.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Because the guys
Breaking Bad recently is like picking up meds for my nan. So, but no,
did you crush them and kill the pharmacist that gave them to you to make it really realistic?
Yeah, there was a whole shootout in Malvern.
Nice, a little turtle with a landmine strapped to it. God, I haven't watched Breaking Bad in a long time. I'm surprised that came. Get some peptides on that wrist if you got a sore wrist.
And not anymore.
Because of peptides.
That is the real Harry Lightfoot, I think, ladies and gentlemen. Haven't heard from him all day, and now he pops up.
You know what? He messaged me, and I was like, "Listen, Mister, I don't fucking reply to messages."
Yeah.
And then I said, "You're welcome to come on if you want." And he said, "Oh, I wouldn't steal his thunder."
Most of the words I'll use, he probably won't quite get.
Yeah. What was the other thing I was going to say to you there? How long have you been coaching Harry for?
So Harry, he joined AOD's like generic program originally.
Okay.
Which called AOD Athlete, big plug there, which Adam writes. And he was doing that for about a year. Adam Roth, one of the other owners of AOD.
How many owners are there? 2, 3?
Three. Myself, Adam Roth, and then Harry Keane, who's on the AOD team.
Oh, I know. Is that the bald guy?
He has many different haircuts. You should see him in lockdown. He had Jesus. We had Jesus Harry in lockdown.
Wow.
Long hair. That was good. But yeah, you'll probably know him as the big, bold, strong guy.
I'm looking for... This is what happens when my fucking kids come into this room. I have a little remote to turn on my light, and I just realized the reason that you think I look really tan is because my lights are off. And I can't...
Do you want me to join you? I could just go into dark
fucking
mode.
shits. Where do they put they play with it like it's a phone and they like call each other. Maybe I can turn it on manually.
God, I just look more pale. Jesus.
Oh my God. Making this worse. Oh, there we go.
There we go. Warm tan. There we go.
Actually, just to interrupt you there, someone sent me this sweater.
Yeah.
It says Death Boy on the back.
Yeah, okay. like that.
I think it's an Australian guy, but he sent me like 2 sweaters and a hoodie, and they're actually really good. Like they're really nice. They're nice. I don't know what the website is. I should probably look it up. Death by Official is the Death by Clothing. Is just going to be somebody strangled by a jumper? Death Collective. That's not them.
No, that's a isn't that like a heavy metal band or something?
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to find it. Anyway, if he watches, he can add it into the comments, or I'll add it in later on. But thanks for the sweater. It's cool. I like it. Some stickers as well. Right, so you and 2 others, and I've seen you doing like you put up a video, was it today or yesterday, in ring muscle ups, and like you're pretty proficient yourself. What age are you?
What age am I? I'm 30.
And did you have competitive aspirations yourself? Is that how you kind of got into coaching and stuff?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've always coached alongside having competitive aspirations, and then in 2021 went to the games on a team, and then we had a few years of rocky, like, you know, trying to make it back, and I picked up a shoulder injury during that, and kind of then just used it not as an excuse, but as a bit of a change of framework, just to put a lot more time and effort into my coaching, which I've always enjoyed and proudly put time and effort into. But it's certainly, when you're trying to compete to a high level, as you know, it takes
as you know,
well, because you hang around all these athletes, right?
As you know from other people's explanations of it.
It takes a lot of time, right?
Did you, so 2021 at the games on a team, was that the first year AOD made it?
That was the first year AOD made it. Yeah, that was. And
then was this the second year?
Madison. Yes, this is the second year. Yeah.
Okay, but you're not coaching that team, or are you?
No. I just they obviously train out of Blueprint. Adzi and Harry, they coach and manage that team, and then I chip in with opinions and thoughts, but no, I don't coach the team.
And do you and Harry operate out of Blueprint too?
Yes.
Okay, and Amy Kringle.
Yes,
but she's a different coach, different everything.
Correct.
Right.
God, the guy the guy Fraser, who coaches Amy, I own the gym with.
Right.
So there's like the overarching gym ownership, and then within the gym, there's 2 programming companies: AOD, Team Training.
Why not just one?
It's a long story, but we can't go into that. Well, we could, but it's not interesting or worth it.
Have you guys always been friends?
Yes.
Okay, right. So it's not awkward. Because didn't Will Kane own that gym, or have something to do with that gym?
Will does still co-own the gym. Yeah, he's part of the Team Training.
All right. Okay.
Right. Look, I'll break it down. It's like this. There's 5 owners of Blueprint.
Okay.
3 AOD and 2 Team Training.
You did that the wrong way around. You did 2 and then 3. Well, okay. 2.
Did I do 2 then 3?
Yeah, you did. You did that for 2, which I have never seen before.
Yeah, 2.
Why would you use your thumb? 2.
Like the Germans.
Okay.
Have you watched Inglourious Bastards?
I thought you were referencing Allo.
No.
Okay, so there's 5 owners of Blueprint.
Yeah.
You, Fraser, Will.
Yeah, and then
someone else at Team Training.
Adam and Harry.
Okay, right. Wow. Okay. And is it?
Also, I saw you're doing a gym tour, so why don't you come on down or up, whichever direction it is?
I was going to go there. I'm hoping I get another 10 episodes, and I might go again. So who takes the major brunt of the gym stuff then?
Who works most of it?
Yeah, as in like who's. I'm guessing that you meet every so often and go over like, all right, like this has happened, whatever. But like, who's day to day? Do you hire someone to manage it, or does one of you 5 just be like, all right, I'll do the gym and you guys do the other stuff?
Yeah, no. So no, I see what you mean. So essentially, if anyone was the gym manager, it'd be Adam.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we all have our own set roles and responsibilities and stuff. But yeah, that's how it works.
If you break your week down into say 100% of your working time, what percentage of your working time goes to the gym and what percentage goes to AOD, like the training, like coaching?
Probably about 20% Blueprint, 80% AOD.
Okay, that's more than I expected.
And well, you see, I coach a few classes because I enjoy it, and I think it's important that your owners are present for a lot of it, for many reasons. And then other than that, I just work from home. We do meet for Blueprint, like we have directors meetings and stuff like that. And I have my own roles and responsibilities, but largely they're all can be done from behind the old laptop.
And Blueprint's in Worcestershire.
Worcestershire, yeah.
Yeah. And you're not from there, are you?
I am born and bred.
Right. Where is Worcester? I thought, is Worcester not like West Country? Should you not have like a
Midlands?
accent?
Midlands. You were quite close. I mean, you came Swansea 179. Where else did you go for your gym tour?
Leamington Spa, Bath.
Leamington Spa.
Sorry,
you must have driven past.
Bath, not Bath.
Yeah. Well, we're about between Leamington and Bath, somewhere in the middle there, about an hour south of Birmingham.
Okay, so you like Jeremy Clarkson area?
Yes. Oh, very much. I could cycle over there, and
I stopped at that pub.
Yeah.
When I drove past.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, it's not. Like, it's too full. And I was like, cool, okay, thanks, bye.
It's very high demand there.
Yeah,
very
it's
high
crazy.
Demand. You're a Clarkson Farm fan?
It's a great show. Like,
it is good. Yeah.
I don't even particularly like him, and I don't particularly like farming, but it's compelling viewing.
Honestly, you should sit down. You should get Harry on a show and watch Clarkson's Farm with him, because he's a new man. He knows a lot about farming, is my point. More than you'd think.
Wow. I grew up on a farm, and I think I know more about farming from watching Clarkson's Farm than I did by wading through shit myself.
So what? You grew up on a farm? So your parents are farmers? Or your dad was a farmer?
My dad, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Not to the extent that Jeremy is.
No, really.
He didn't have a Lamborghini tractor, or he didn't have, none of that.
It doesn't seem to help him lots, that Lamborghini tractor. It just gives him a headache.
No. So wow, okay. So you grew up there, and then did you do sports when you were younger, or have you always been physically active and stuff?
Yeah, I played a lot of sports when I was younger, mainly rugby. Played up here.
Is that how you know Harry, or no?
No,
he played rugby, didn't he?
He did, yeah, he did. But I think Harry. So to kind of full circle it, I think. So I grew up playing rugby, played at like college and sixth form level, played a lot of sevens, played in like the Worcester Ace, and then basically went traveling, went to uni and stopped playing. But I think when we were launching this AOD, like this CrossFit thing post university, Harry kind of was checking us out for a while, or he's told me this in the past. And he was like, I liked you guys because you played a bit of rugby. We kind of see eye to eye on a few things. And then he, like I say, decided to join the athlete program, the generic. And then he was, he once you have his attention, he's very good.
I've never managed to get it.
Have you not? That's a shame. Yeah, it's a shame.
We made eye contact briefly one time, but then he realized I wasn't the person he was intending to look at. Okay. Wow. Okay. So when is it after you finished rugby, when you went traveling, is that when you kind of discovered CrossFit yourself then, or were you doing it when you were?
Actually, because I went traveling with a mate of mine. We did loads of places. I won't bore you with my gap year. And we went to Australia for one of these places. And there's this guy who I stayed with, and he's training to be in the Australian like SWAT team or equivalent. I'm not sure what to call it. And he's like, oh man, come on, we're going to go do some training with my buddies. At this point, I've just been like gymming S&C and playing rugby. And we go to this like garage gym, and we're doing the craziest shit that I've ever seen, and I am hanging. I'm absolutely hanging because I've been drinking and not exercising loads.
It's gap year.
Yeah, on the gap year, right? I've just been sinking pint shot, And he basically, we do a CrossFit session. I've got no idea that it's even called CrossFit. It's in some garage gym. And then later in that trip, the guy puts on the CrossFit Games, which I've never watched before. And it's a year, I distinctly remember this. It's a year that Sam Briggs won.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, that's mad. I didn't even know what CrossFit was, let alone I didn't even know British people did it. And then kind of shut that. I don't even think about CrossFit for like another 2 years. And then at university, I'm training with Adam, and he's like, look at this guy doing these weird pull-ups and thrusters. And I'm like, man, that looks easy. I could easily do that. And it was
so you had already forgotten
your
last experience.
Yeah. And then I remembered after I did Fran that, oh yeah, that was that CrossFit thing. That's really hard. And then, yeah, off you go kind of thing.
Can you remember how long Fran took you the first time?
Oh, no, it would have been probably a DNF. Like, for example, I wasn't doing kipping pull-ups. I'm doing like strict chin-ups on like a neutral grip bar, you know.
What was your time? I got 12 reps.
yeah. I probably got into the 15 pull-ups or something.
Yeah, I got
I
bicep.
would have finished it, but it would have been, Lord knows, it would have probably been 10 plus minutes.
John, I just realized maybe this is my upbringing, but this really looks like a member of a paramilitary organization with horns. the image on the shoulder. If you cut that off, that's the IRA. If you cut that off,
I mean, yeah, you could be.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I just saw that comment. We need drunk Pedro post on Colton's shitting his pants story on Sevon this morning. I don't know. It sounds like Colton did a pretty good job of telling that story himself. Okay, so how many? So the two of you wanted to start. You trained together, then you both said like, "Oh, we could probably coach some people." Basically.
Yeah, so we basically went to a local CrossFit gym in Loughborough, started training, loved it, and we were like, "Oh, we'd love to do some coaching at the local affiliate." And so we spent our student loan on getting our level 1, and then did that, and then started coaching there. Obviously, we're training loads at this point because we're only covering a few classes.
What were you studying at the time?
Physics and sports science.
Right. So physics got fucked with the. I'm assuming did you finish all that like with your student loan gone on doing your level 1?
Yeah, I finished that fine. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Yeah. If anything, the sports science suffered because Adam and I, we were like, because he was also on the same course. That's how we met, and we were like, "Oh, that sports science stuff, like, that's all right. We know that. Like, we got to really hone in on this physics because this is hardcore." And then we ended up doing better in our physics. Well, I can't speak for ads, but I ended up doing way better in my physics credits than I did in my sports science.
Were you annoying in your sports science? Like, say, if I spoke to one of your lecturers, would they have been able to pinpoint when you did your level 1? Because like before it, you were just like, wow, this is already interesting. And then after it, you were like, is this not one of the 10 fundamentals?
Yeah. I think you'll find the Hopper model actually expresses. Yeah. One thing I know that happened is that they used to like call the other people out. So in Loughborough, if you're like a pure sports scientist, that's like quite a pedigree. So they think that these people doing like these dual like split degrees, they kind of poo-poo it a bit. So a couple of times a guy would be like, "Oh, any of our physics and sports science should know the answer to this one." And I'd be like, "Dude, I knew the answer to that when I was in year 9. That's like GCSE physics, but you crack on anyway."
Where is the patella?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, anyway, yeah, it was good. It was a good time. Funnily enough, if you want a full loop circle, in those sports science lectures at Loughborough was Lucy Campbell as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So she was playing hockey there, I think, and maybe swimming. I don't know at the time. I didn't know her super well at uni.
Oh, that's funny. My geography of the UK is so bad. Like,
yeah, apparently
in my head, that's miles from
Loughborough. No.
Yeah, no, I'm just dumb when it comes to
Nottingham, that kind of way.
Like sometimes I look at a map and I'm like, oh, London's there. You know, like I don't know. I'm
That's
just
the
dumb.
main one.
Yeah. Okay, so then are you just a member in a CrossFit gym and then coaching and then and how did Blueprint come about?
Oh, Blueprint. Oh yeah, you got to fast forward a little bit. Sorry, I'll crack on. So basically, we do some coaching. We get the L2 as well with the student loan. Good investment. And then
how much is your student loan? That's like you're already at like $2,500 there.
A lot. I'll be paying it back for a while, the student loan. And we finish up uni and we kind of disperse, Harry, Adam and I, and we all go separate ways. Adam's coaching out in the Middle East. I'm coaching here and at what was old Blueprint. It used to be called Blueprint, and it was in Worcester. And then Willem Fraser owned this gym. So I'm coaching there. And then basically I say to the guys, hey, look, we should like give this a go. We should try and start an online coaching company, or we should even try and open our own gym, because if we don't try now, we're all going to go get jobs.
Who's the guys now that you said this to?
Sorry, Adam and Harry.
Okay, right, okay. And why not? Why not just say it? Sorry, go on. I'll ask that in a minute. I think if you don't answer it, go on.
It's all right. And then they're like, yeah, sure. So we basically start doing this thing, and then Adam and Harry come up to Worcester. We're all training at a bullpen, and then we're kind of like, the guys are like, oh, there's a few things going on, and we're like, oh, I'll tell you what, we could definitely, we'd love to get involved with the gym. So we essentially come into the gym, take some like ownership of it, and then rebrand and move and open Blueprint altogether. But the reason you're going to ask is, because before then, Will and Fraser have already got this team training thing going.
Okay.
Separately, you see. So there was a discussion right at the start to blend everything together.
Yeah.
And it would all be called Blueprint, but that didn't end up happening. And now there's too many kind of things involved and people involved for that to happen.
Yeah. I think maybe that might have been answered since you asked that question. But basically, Will and Fraser owned the gym originally and owned team training. And then Mike was coaching there. And then they basically bought into the gym or received ownership in the gym and moved the gym to a new location. That was recently enough, wasn't it? That was like 3 years ago?
Yeah, it'll be 4 years in December, yeah.
Wow, okay. And is that the common like shitty landlord, bad, like something fuck up and then, oh shit, we need a new location, etc. Basically, that's
it wasn't too bad. They had fair warning. They basically, I don't know what happened. It's all now new flats. It's right by the train station, the old place.
Okay.
So they gave them ample warning. And then, we just had to start looking. And I think it's been a good move. I think everyone will, not that there's anything wrong with the old place. It was just, it's different.
Is that like a historically, because I know this is a problem that say like Bath have, is that like, it's not an industrial town, so there's fuck all units. So like, is it like, is the area that you're in, was it easy to find somewhere or was that a big challenge?
No, finding, getting permits and stuff around ours, would have been tough for that exact reason. But there is one small industrial estate right on the edge of the city centre, almost just before you go out of the city one way, and that's where we are now.
Okay.
Location-wise.
How far is it from where it was originally?
Probably about 2 miles.
Okay, so it wasn't even that big of a lift for members and stuff.
Oh no, we retained a lot of membership guys who came across with us, and there's a core group. It is in Worcester. There's a river that goes through Worcester. And there's a bit of a divide. Like, oh, I have to go across the river to get there, kind of thing. So we did move the other side, but no, for a lot of people, it didn't make a huge difference. Okay, that's good.
And then with AOD, that's adapt or die, isn't it? AOD.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Aggressive. So you're doing that and you're involved in the gym.
Yep.
3 years ago, 1, 2, 3. So this is after you were at the games then, or around the same time, I guess.
The gym was essentially opening the same time we were qualifying for the games. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot of.
Yeah, it was a lot. There's a lot going
on. Mm-hmm. So then after that, was that so that experience of like being at the games and realizing your, I guess maybe realizing your, I don't want to project, but realizing your athletic potential, as in like making it, and then realizing what it took to make it, and then realizing what it would take to make it again, and then also having an injury, and then also having the gym and being like, fucking hell, like maybe I should just focus on stuff that doesn't hurt my shoulder, basically. Is that kind of where it felt?
A little bit, yeah. Like there's a couple of years in the middle there where, but yeah, essentially, yeah, that is kind of what happened. And when, to be quite frank, when Harry qualified for his first semi-final, that was in Berlin. Do you remember that one? I don't know if you went over there. It was
2.
Yeah. 2. Harry qualified and I was competing in the team at the semi-finals, and I was really stressed about it because I wanted to coach him fully, but I also had committed and made a commitment to the team to be in the team. Anyway, long story short, Lois, bless her, blows her knee out in event 1.
I remember that. Fuck yeah.
Of the semi-finals. And so I just went, the guys, we were all obviously gutted, but what I did was just go zoom like that. And I just went, well, I'm just going to do that, which is kind of my way of coping with it, I think. And then from there, not that I didn't look back, but I certainly felt, if this guy's going to really, because then Harry decided to move up to Worcester. He now lives with up at my parents' place, and
like in their house.
They have like he's making his way.
Morning, son.
He's trying to claim my old room. He is.
You're the son we wish we had.
Yeah, I know. And I'm just there sat at the dinner table like, guys.
Yeah, you went to the games too, Mike, didn't you? On a team, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what they say, literally like that. Help for love, So Harry made this commitment to move up here, right? Because I said, look, man, you're young.
This is after Berlin.
Yeah, you're young, like you're working full time. Like the guy qualified 4th in quarterfinals in Europe and then went semis. He came 25th, 22nd. But he's coaching like 6 to 7 hours a day.
Yeah.
And like we're doing.
And pretty green as well. Like.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're doing one training session a day, 2 some days, and I'm like, look at the guys that are beating you, right? They're taking this. Not taking it more seriously in terms of mindset, but they have their life set up.
It's revolved. Yeah.
So he decided to come up to Worcester, and when he moved up here, there was kind of not a pressure at all, but like I wanted to make it worth it for him,
Yeah. So do you think did that make it easier for you? The fact that you had him and that you had the gym and AOD and stuff too, because I know a lot of people kind of struggle with that where they want to make the games and that's everything and it's their North Star and what they're doing and it's, their whole training revolves around it and everything. And then suddenly they just stop doing it. And it's like, oh shit, what do I do now? So do you think was it an easier like retirement to be able to just say like, all right, well, I'll just put all my effort into Harry and AOD and then we'll just see what happens there instead of waking up the next morning being like, oh shit.
Oh yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I was gutted about the shoulder injury at the time because we tried 2 times. We'd failed twice because I tore my hamstring in one of the other semi-finals. Don't know if you remember that in Amsterdam. And so basically, yeah, like I was gutted, but at the same time, I also had a lot of other things that I could pour my energy into. So it was easier in that sense. Yeah.
Oh, I've just pieced together the AOD. Yeah, isn't it like? Wasn't there like something ridiculous every year that? Basically, like between qualifying the first time and then this year, each year there was some like, oh, for fuck's sake type thing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly that. One of them was we were at Lowlands when Lowlands was a semi-final, and we were finishing an event. We didn't even need to run fast, but we were running over the line, and I was sprinting, and I tore my hamstring running over the line, not even doing anything, and then I couldn't go out and do the last event. And we were we came 6th out of the top 5 or whatever. Anyway, yeah, shit like that.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Maybe it was pretty easy to retire then after all that.
Well, no, I don't know. Man, it's a lot harder watching than it is competing, in my opinion, like coaching in terms of the stress and things.
Yeah, I guess because athletes only have so much control, but you've basically zero. Like you're kind of, it's not even like, it's sort of like watching a football match versus playing FIFA. Like at least you have some kind of involvement. You can do something or you can blame yourself or whatever. Whereas when it's like Harry going out, you're kind of like, well, hope the last 12 months wasn't a complete waste of everyone's time.
Yeah, well, yeah. Normally we don't think like that. Normally we have a pretty particular plan or plan A, B, and C. But yeah, you're right.
So what's the change then? What's changed? Say he's obviously training more, but since he moved up, is it just a more like all-in approach, basically a more professional mindset towards it that Harry has now compared to when he was doing all that other stuff and he was living, away and, following the generic stuff? Yeah.
So obviously the way you have to do it, in my opinion anyway, is that when Harry moved up here, if you want to be a top level CrossFit athlete, because there's not for a sport, there's not loads of money in the sport, right? You have to be right at the top to be making decent money. And so he had to look at it as like, this is my job now, or I want it to be my job. But for a lot of people, they'd be like, that's stupid. Don't do that because you're not going to make it and you're going to waste your time. And it's like, yeah, but the thing is, if you don't go all in and try it, you will never make it. So we basically took it 1 year at a time, you know, and Harry was making quite good progress because, of course, we talk about this all the time. If you're not ahead of the curve, you're behind it in CrossFit, because you can get better, but the whole world can get better faster than you, and then you're actually worse off.
Yeah. The gap is wider, basically. Yeah.
And so Harry was making exponential growth on people, especially within Europe. And so we basically decided to double down. Every year we took things more seriously, more training, more recovery, less work, which also meant less money. But it has, I would call this year like probably the first year people have started to really notice him. Of course, he was at the games the previous year, but there's a lot of other things that went on that year. So I would say this year's been his, I don't know if you want to call it like his breakout year.
Well, he's the fittest UK male of all time.
Yes, I believe that's correct. He's the highest placing male of all time.
I asked one person if that was true, and they said, "Yeah, I think you're right." So I'm going with it.
Yeah, I mean, I have had a sneaky look.
I think it's like Steve is like low teens or like high teens or whatever, and then Phil Heskett's in the 20s, and you know. I think
it was Elliot Simmons in like 18th or 19th, but I can't.
Yeah,
I can't confirm that.
They've all retired now anyway, so even
just and technically, bias. I mean, obviously there are some European names not there, but technically Harry was the fittest in Europe as well at the CrossFit Games anyway.
There you go. I spoke to you at Wadapalooza, which Harry did. So he did individually, he did team, because money, I guess. But he did individual, and you were saying at the games this year, you were saying that like, oh, he might, you know, like that would be January would be the sort of litmus test. But now Wadapalooza moved, so it's a bit like, oh, okay, well, we need to kind of adjust that. Why January? Is it just like the kind of 4 or 5 month? That any less than that, you're kind of not pissing against the wind, but you're like so short on time that it's hard to make any reasonable change. I guess, you know, like you look at someone like Dallin, who Harry's chasing.
Mm-hmm.
So for Dallin to maintain his fitness, which is really, really high, and maintain his skill, which is really high skill, he maybe can do that over a shorter period of time, versus Harry, who needs to make improvements on his fitness and improvements on his skill, although both are really high as well, just not that high. He needs more time, more runway, basically. Is that it?
Absolutely. You're spot on. It's all down to like two things. One, the periodization of the training. And as you're saying, basically not having enough time to make up ground in areas that you need to make ground up on. And then two, it comes as a good test because not only of the timing within the periodization structure, but also the field, because you don't get to play with the big boys all the time, and you need to go and see where you're at. And America is great because if you look at it like this, when you're trying to qualify for the games out of Europe, you need to be fucking fit. You need to be quick on your hands and quick up a rope. And then when you go to America, pretty much you're piss weak, no matter who you are.
Yeah.
From Europe anyway. The American boys are built different, and you know, it's because of the society and the way that they grow up just in gyms from a young age and the explosiveness of all the sports that they're playing. But basically we have this balance, right, of Harry going European like quarterfinals and semi-finals. Okay, I'm looking at Yele and BKG and what these boys are doing, and I'm getting that data, comparing it to Harry. Then we're going to Wadapalooza and we're seeing like more of the American international field, not all of them, but some of them. And then we're kind of putting it together and being like, right, that's what we can expect now. That we know where we need to be good enough. Let's try and chase it. And like you say, I mean, even 3 or 4 months is not a lot of time to make good progress at this level. So, you know, I'm really interested with WFP and guys rolling through all WFP stops, all game stops, SoCal, Rogue, then Copenhagen. What's going to happen? Because right now, Harry doesn't have a Rogue invite and he doesn't have SoCal or WFP. So we are lining up. As of Monday, that kid's just focusing on the CrossFit Games next year. That's what he's training for. And I wonder what will happen. I'm just interested to see.
If you want to
take on compete all the time and get better.
if he wants to take on Colton and a few others, he can message JR. I'm sure he might be able to figure something out for him.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a risk, do you think? And maybe risk is the wrong word, but like, is that test, that January litmus test against the Americans, is that necessary? Like, do you think, is it a risk going from end of July to end of July with only semifinals as you're like, all right, let's see
And
where we stack up?
And Wodapalooza.
Well, that's in March now, you see. That's what I mean.
Oh,
like,
sorry, you mean now? Oh, you mean right now? Oh,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
We'll wait. If Harry doesn't get a backfill from Rogue, we will likely. I don't know the times and stuff yet because as you know, the season is a fucking mess. But I would imagine we'll try and hit Dubai.
Okay, yeah.
Because of the timing, it's normally around that kind of what we call like mid-off season mark, or like, so you can test some stuff. The field should be, it's normally very good, etc., etc. So yeah, there'll have to be a shift because we'll need to do something, to benchmark it.
You don't think it's possible or advisable to just say lock yourself in a hole until semifinals, basically?
No, I think you could. I think though that you need, competition exposure is important.
Is that because of his competitive age, do you think? Like, would that be the same for, like, I don't know, Dallin, like, who's been competing against people for longer, that he could maybe get away with skipping an in-season or an off-season like calendar completely, whereas because Harry's at a younger competitive age, as in he's had less miles on the competition floor under his belt, that he maybe needs it more than others would?
I think that. Yeah, I think you're right. Basically, I don't have loads more to comment there. I think that Harry does need some more competition practice in some elements. So there's definitely things that we can refine and improve on there. He is generally quite good, but Wodapalooza did, it was the perfect litmus test, really.
Mm-hmm. He should. This is actually good. Just call in to Kill Taylor every Saturday.
Yeah,
you can just call in. Win $500 every week. He wouldn't need to worry about money. That solves every problem that you're talking about.
I'll get him to try one. Yeah, he's back. He's back on Sunday. And
I think they're actually, as far as I know, I think they're changing when they release the workouts, which should make it easier for people, especially in the UK.
Oh, great.
Because usually they just release the workouts at 3 o'clock our time and the workouts at 4 o'clock our time, Saturday. But now I think they might be releasing it earlier so that you have a chance to be like, oh yeah, I could go to the gym at 4 o'clock and do that, instead of just being like, I'm already at home and I've had my dinner.
Well, if it's Harry, he'll be, if it's is it a Saturday, did you say?
Yeah.
He'll be in the gym at that time, so you'll be all right. Maybe we
there you go. That's on Saturday this week for anybody that wants to watch. The interesting then, you said, we were kind of texting the other day or DMing the other day or whatever, and you said something about, you said that Harry predicted his time on one of the workouts within 10 seconds.
No, I predicted Harry's time.
You did? Okay.
On most of the workouts.
On most of?
Yeah. Do you want to see?
Yeah. You can do, I think if you click present.
Oh yeah, no, don't worry. We're good. Okay, so. Don't show me the tips. Okay, here's Harry's macro sheet for the CrossFit Games. Wow. So we'll go here, step test to start with. So you've probably heard of like VO2 max testing and stuff, right?
Yes.
So basically, quite popular recently in the like triathlon and running world has been like blood lactate values, and using blood lactate values to prescribe certain training zones and intensities.
This is the shit that I've seen Dallin do, where he runs 400 meters and then gives his blood and then runs another 400 meters and so on.
Yes, except 400 meters probably isn't quite far enough.
Well, whatever. I don't know. It was a 400 meter track. I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, basically, one of the guys, Harry Keane, who's, AOD.
I know him, yeah.
He deep dived into this last year, about 18 months ago, actually. And then we basically have been prescribing very specific training pieces based off of the results. So this was actually a VO2 max step test that Harry did up at university in Hull, I think.
This is on the machine with the mask running, and then they just increase it until they stop, basically.
That's right. So you essentially start a particular speed, and then and it depends on the test, but normally it's like 3 on 1 off or 4 on 1 off. And in the 1 off, you get your blood lactate picked, plot it, and then you increase the work, and you keep going until you basically fail an interval. You can't hold it for 3 minutes, and they then promote you to go for as long as you can and speed up as fast as you can, and you basically get all these different blood lactate zones that equate to heart rate ranges. And so what you can do then is train certain areas, because there's certain points on this graph that you're looking for. There's lactate, like LT1, lactate threshold 1, LT2, and they define kind of your energy system zones.
Yeah.
And so what that essentially means is that when you shift between zones, you're kind of using different fuel substrate, and therefore you've got like a certain amount of time, if you like, in each one. And so Harry did this with us down at Blueprint, and he did it up at Hull as well. And then Harry Keane sent me all the data and put it together to say, look, this is what we need to do, we think, to increase Harry's like profile. We call it like an energy system profile. Harry's is generally quite good. It's quite even. And so what we did then was we equated them to running paces. You can see here that Harry's LT2, so lactate threshold 2, is around that 4 minutes per kilometer mark.
What does that mean, LT2 threshold?
What does that mean?
Yeah.
That's like your, to put it simply, I suppose, that's like your...
That's his terminal velocity, basically, where he's just going to fall into a ditch.
Once you pass that point, you've only got a certain amount of time before the wheels come off. All right. Yeah. So we're trying to push that up as high as we can pre-games, right? Because we know this long run, which they release super early, right, that you're going to have to be at that point to have a competitive score. Now, obviously, if your LT2 is lower than that, say mine is like around here, right? That's just where you have to run at. You can't run faster than that because your physiology won't allow it. And so basically we had a load of graphs and breakdowns of times for the row and the run. And there's the predicted time for Harry's result. And I believe Harry was, because that's actually 0.96, that's 0.9 of a minute. So it'll be like 55. And I think Harry was like, well, we'll have to check, but it was close. Let's put it that way. So we have these for all the different tests. Here's the crossover double under one, which you might think it's just crossovers and wall walks. Like, what does all that mean? But this is like time distribution versus like rep density and where's important, then also transitions too. So Harry actually finished quite well in that event too. I think he got 5th. And he was one of the last guys to pick up his rope for the first set of these. But then he just did not stop moving. He is very good at crossover double unders. I don't think he tripped once. But anyway, so yeah, this is the kind of stuff that we love to get into and break down. And how many
do you think is this? How many training camps do you think go into this detail? All of them?
Yeah,
do you think so?
All the top ones, yeah, for sure.
And do you share that with Harry? Like, are you looking at that graph of the wall walks and stuff, saying like, all right, after like 72 seconds?
Yeah, absolutely, man. He's filming the workout, sending it to me. He's got access to all this. And then we'll meet up and we'll talk about it. Yeah. And I'm saying, look at the time that can be lost in transitions, like just from moving from place to place. Look at how I don't know, what's the green? Look at how the toaster bar is the slowest, like rep, seconds per rep and whatever. And like, think about what that means, blah, 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 all this stuff. So yeah, we try and break it down a lot.
Is it just do you just do that with competition stuff, or do you do that like on a Tuesday?
Yeah. So we call this athlete IQ, and Harry's developed this very well. He will be able to walk in the gym. I'd like to think my notes and the way I program and the level of communication that we have as well helps, but he'll be able to walk in the gym and then he will understand the assignment. Like, we're trying to get this thing out of this session. And then sometimes there'll be a test or a conditioning piece, like a classic conditioning piece, like 3 rounds of time or whatever. And he'll do this in his head, like, and he'll say, like, well, if I'm rowing at, because I didn't show you all the sheets. There's a lot of sheets. If I'm rowing at, 1,500 calories per hour, well, I know that that's going to give me 40 calories in 1 minute 35, and then blah blah blah. And he works it all out, and then we basically go, and then we look at the result at the end, and we're like, did it all match up? What did we learn? And I said to Harry, I said this at the games this year to him, and I knew it was coming. I kind of knew it, but it was too late. We're almost, I don't want to say this, we're almost too good at that, I think. Sometimes you have to just let it burn. You have to
just take a risk, just see.
You have to just take the risk because enough guys are going to do it. This is why I think I opted for the online competition to games, the semis. Even though we knew it was going to be tough, we sat here all weekend and we did this all weekend and for the weeks building up to it. And Harry, for the large part, executed every workout absolutely to the best of his abilities, and he just scraped in because honestly, they weren't actually a great set of tests for him. When I saw them, I was like, oh. Like I knew what I wanted to see. Like Isabel, like the heavy Isabel, we all knew it was coming, but it's not his best kind of domain. But he did extremely well in that. Anyways, so at the games this year, there's a few events like the running snatch one, right? You can plot spreadsheets all you like, but you got to get out there. You're day 3 of a comp. You're blowing out your ass. You've done 60 deadlifts at 160 a day before and a max back squat. And you just got to fight. You just got to fight it. And there definitely will be some takeaways from all of this. Like this is very good for training, but when it comes to competing and learning things and practicing competition style workouts, I think maybe we need to take a few more risks.
Do you think does it make him more relaxed, like better able to find that sort of what do you call that, flow state, when he just doesn't have to think?
Yeah,
like he doesn't have to be like, oh, I wonder how long that'll take, or I wonder like what do I do if this happens. That is just like you say, I can't remember, was it Luke de Jong or something was telling me that on the Echo bike, if you knock off the 0, if you knock off the last digit, it tells you, I actually can't remember what he said. It was something to do with your watts and your calories in a minute, that if you knock off the last 0 and divide it by something, it gives you the exact number. And like, I think if you learn those kind of tricks and there's second nature to you, then you're not going out being like, well, let's just see what happens.
You're making like informed decisions about this thing, right? Yeah, absolutely. Here's, the one that I'm the most pleased with all year, I think, was the semi-final event, the GHD dual dumbbell overhead lunge one. Okay. Because we knew exactly what Harry's going to do. How many steps, how many seconds the dumbbell were going to be down every time. We're descending rep scheme with increasing rest periods, and he absolutely nailed it. And there are guys that should have beaten him in that workout that didn't, because he had the ability to be able to do that, in my opinion.
So he knew he was dropping the dumbbells and looking at the clock, being like 2, 1, and moving again.
He didn't really look at the clocks as to beat, but yeah, he had a mental counter. Yeah, so he would do. Yeah, I can't remember the exact. I can find it on the semi-final spreadsheet, but it would have been like 8 lunges, 6-second rest, 3-second rest, 4 lunges, like 5-second rest or whatever like that, and he just nailed it. And then when the results came out, I was just looking at boys who I know have better overhead like lunge capacity than Harry, and he's just beaten them. And it wasn't in the GHDs. Like obviously there was interference between the two, but for the games boys, like it was all in the lunges, right?
Yeah.
So
is there a danger of going too far that way though? Like as in, do you hold back certain information from him, or do you like I was talking to Shane Orr about his like proven crew, and he was kind of saying that he said Jay Crouch, for example, or Ricky Garrard, for example, don't concern themselves with what Dallin or James or Harry or anyone else is doing from August to July. They just do their own thing. So he said it needs to be the same games weekend. Like he said, they shouldn't be concerning themselves with what Jason is about to do or what's happening in lane 3 or whatever, unless there's like a foot race at the end. But they shouldn't be concerning themselves with like, well, he's in 5th and I need 14 points. And if I don't get those 14 points this next one, then I'll have to get them one after, and the overhead squat isn't good for me and blah, blah, blah. So he was like, he does all of that and he takes all of that information. So he knows, usually just for the back squat one, those types of ones where he can be like, oh, you need to go higher, and he can actually control what's happening. But he withholds all of that information from the athletes themselves.
Sure.
And doesn't tell them, hey, Amy Kringle's like catching up on you, or Lucy Campbell's whatever, or, you know, Harry's whatever. He just kind of keeps it to himself. Is there stuff that you know or that you think going into an event that you just don't tell him because you're like, that's not going to help him? Like, it's information, but it's not useful.
100%. You said it yourself. You basically answered your own question, I think. Like, you need to focus on this thing, right? Like, how can you execute the workout to the best of your ability? And if Dallin does this or that, and it's like, there's a difference between watching the earlier heats, seeing somebody do something and being like, maybe that's a better way to do it for my athlete or for Harry or whoever, versus seeing somebody do something that you don't know if your athlete can do and then asking them to do it. Like, do you know what I mean? And so you're right. Like, yeah, some information, I won't tell him. And some information is important that he understands. But before these events, long before you get on the floor, we've already got pretty good idea of how we're going to try and do something. And most of the time it goes well, and sometimes you get it wrong.
Is there a cutoff? Like, have you got a cutoff in your head of like, all right, it's 15 minutes before he goes, I can't tell him something now, I just have to wish him good luck?
You know, I said this to the guys. So we're warming up for the back squat in the top warm-up area, you know, the first one.
Yeah.
And Harry's warming up and he puts 315 on, which is like 143. And he squats it and it moves really quite poorly. It moves slow. He rocks on it like on his way.
I thought you were going to say it moved really well.
And I go, right, great, mate, great. I go, right, we're just going to do a few more bits of this. We're going to hit that, whatever. I'm just going to go grab something. I go around, I go back to the AOD table where all the guys are. And the guys, how's he feeling, the team? I think Keen asked me, and I go, he looks like shit. And I just turn around and walk off. We get down to the warm-up, the other warm-up area, the one down by the stage. And we're going up in weight and things are just getting faster. And I'm looking at him like, okay, fair enough. But you don't want to do too many squats, right, before you go out there. It's a long weekend. It's a lot. So we stayed around the 175 mark for a few warm-up lifts.
So that's 30 heavier than he was doing upstairs.
Yeah, around there. Right. Yeah, this is still like relatively light for these guys.
Yeah, but if he looked shit on upstairs and he's gone 30 kilos up and looks better, that's interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And then I say, how are you feeling? He says, I feel pretty good. And I go, okay. I haven't told him this, but I'm like, I'm going to get him to hit a 450 or something, 465 maybe in the warm up, which is like a 189, right? 190. And he air squats it, dude. And I'm just like this. Okay, I go, let's open at 465 or whatever. He's like, yeah, sounds good. Goes out there and just does 3 air squats, 201, 207, and then 211, and then 220 for a lifetime PR. And it's just an air squat. And sometimes, bro, it's just some things are best not said. Like if I say to him, it doesn't look like it's moving well, he's got these negative connotations in his head, you know. You just sometimes best shutting your mouth and just letting the athlete do their thing, you know.
Has that been a learning experience? Like, is it different with him than because you coach other athletes not at his level, not at like that level, but you coach other athletes with like semi aspirations and in the quarters and all that kind of stuff. Is he like, how different do you approach coaching him versus is there vast differences? Yeah, vast. And that's not to say that anyone is better than the other, because coaching is just all about the individual, right? And so some of my clients, you know, you're just feeding positivity and calm thoughts and all this. And you're actually trying to get them to calm down before they go out onto the stage. You know, some people, you know, all this, like, so yeah, it's very, very, very different. Harry likes to know a lot of the technicalities. He likes the breakdown in his head. Yeah, it's like, I'm trying to think of the word. My youngest woke up at 3 o'clock and was awake until 5:30 this morning.
Yeah.
And I spent honestly an hour and a half of that time trying to think of this word, and I cannot fucking think of it. Sometimes you hear it about coaches or soccer players or whatever, where they're really clued into the tactics and the mechanical breakdown of stuff more so than other players. So you have a player who's like sometimes hit and miss, but will do something amazing, and you call them mercurial. Like that's the word that you'd use to describe them. So it's a word like that. I think it begins with a C, but I cannot fucking think of it. It's been pissed me off. I don't even know what to Google. But Harry strikes me as that kind of person who he knows. I just feel like a lot of athletes maybe go to the gym. You describe the way Harry looks at a workout, might break it down in his head, but I feel like a lot of athletes might go to the gym and just be like, okay, RPE 8, and like just go and just do what's written there, and just be like, in their head, it's just like a monkey clashing the cymbals, and they're just like burpees, barbell, burpees, pull-ups. Whereas Harry's strikes me as someone who's more, he'll see work, I think, RPE 8 and think, well, last October I did this one and it was X amount of time and I felt like this and I should have done this, and maybe if I changed that this time. And he's just more like clued in. Is that an accurate assessment, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And you have to, there's only so much you can do as a coach before part of the responsibility falls on the athlete to go into the gym and be present with what they're doing and be intentional. And obviously, coaching, breaking things down and explaining things. And some athletes like to know the science behind things. Some don't care. But there's only so much of that you can control. And when athletes start to do that, because you start getting better and more regular feedback, but also they start implementing changes to their movement more quickly. And you see a lot more progress a lot quicker. And I can even think of a handful of athletes that I coach who I can remember when they started to do that. And things just start to skyrocket. And the programming is no different necessarily, same intent, same stimulus, same background. But then how somebody does it, very, very important. And what they're doing on the day-to-day, is actually probably one of the biggest strengths of Harry's game.
Yeah. It begins with a C. It's really fucking annoying me. Like, honestly, it's crushed me the last 12 hours.
I'm sorry that I don't know.
Compulsive, critical, conscientious? No, I don't think it's any of those. It is something beginning with a C, though. It's
competently conscious.
No, it'll come to me. You know what? The really annoying thing about it is I had Elle and Matt Torres were supposed to be on the show last week. And I was going to ask Matt Torres if he viewed himself as this word.
Okay.
And it took me 2 days, but I thought of the word. Right. And now I've forgotten it again. And I need to just get it tattooed on my hand or something if I remember it this time.
Sure. Well, text me when you
I will, yeah.
When you do think of it.
It's not clinical, no. Thanks though. The plan then for has he got a ceiling because he's, you mentioned that gap in strength. I think we kind of spoke about it at the games where when you're at a semifinals. So if you think of the European athletes, you think of, like John Young always says it when he's given his, when he's just have 4 letters. No, that's not a good word to describe Harry though. John Young always says it when he's doing the Isabel predictions and all. Like he's kind of like, you're going to look at Europe and it's just going to be lower. Like the strength is just lower. Like the ceiling of strength in Europe is just lower than the mid strength in America.
Yeah, absolutely. But look, this is my sole opinion, personal opinion, and not the representative opinion of AOD or anyone that I represent. But I think this year, I honestly think that they've slightly biased towards the American athletes. Now, there's limitations that you have to work around. The fact that there's one floor, that is really, really tough to do. But the amount of power output events that there were where being heavier is not a disadvantage. I know, hey, look, we had the long run. Don't get me wrong. We had to, because there had to be something in there, right? And a lot of the top guys still did really well because they're the fittest guys in the world. Don't get me wrong. But if you look back when Europeans have done best in the history of the CrossFit Games, there's more off-site events, there's more endurance events, and there's more bodyweight stuff like Murph in whenever they all nearly passed out in the heat. Like there is there is a point where the cultures of where you are in the world dictate, and the workouts will dictate who's going to do better in certain workouts, for sure, and a certain set of events. And I think this year I liked a lot of the programming, but I didn't think, I thought I saw it.
Is
and
it
I was
like power output? Is that the bias, do you think?
Yeah, slightly. And don't get me wrong, CrossFit is work capacity across broad time and mode domains, like it is. But also, I think I would have changed one or two. There was actually a couple that played out, and I've actually, on watching them on a games field, I was like this, you know what? Really hats off to Dave. I thought that worked really well, and I didn't think it was going to. But I think that a couple of them, like having the running snatch workout, you could probably just put people in line of heavy Isabel like that. If you stack up the heavy Isabel line and the running snatch workout, you're probably going to see similarities in placings. And then obviously you've got it.
Cerebral. Thank you, T-Bird.
It's like, Cerebro. Oh, you mean like Professor X, Cerebro?
That's Cerebro, yeah. Cerebral. Yeah. Thank you.
Anyways, basically, my point is, can
you make that up though? Like, how for him to match? Because like, if you the whole thing about CrossFit is, like you said, broad time, all domains, everything else, constantly varied. But if you don't do that, like you would need to not do that in order to make up. You'd have to avoid certain energy systems and stuff to focus enough on your strength to bridge the gap that's there, or to focus enough on your power to, like, something else going to suffer somewhere. So then how do you get him, if you only have 4 months, how do you get him to be as powerful and as, like, they're fucking big. Like Harry's a decently big guy, but like Hopper's fucking huge when you're beside him. And Dallin's back is, you know what I mean?
Dude, so here's the thing. When we were at the games in Texas, we're sat next to Fikowski. Harry sat next to Fikowski. And I'm just looking at him and I'm just like, what on earth is going on here? This is insane. They look like they're competing in different divisions.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And so the plan this year, when we did this, was for Harry to go in heavy. He was 2 kilos heavier than he was when he went to the games first time. He was 2 kilos heavier. I think someone said, "Oh, the back squat will hurt him," and I was like, "Well, let's see, man. We've been working." And he got 220. I think he got 12th, tied 12th in the back squat, which isn't bad. Anyway, my point is, I came away from this games being like this again. Oh, he needs to be even bigger or stronger.
Yeah.
Especially, sorry, this is how I was getting around to it. Especially if Dave's programming the games again, and if the games is in a single stadium modality, that will change how I prep Harry for the next year's games, assuming that he makes it. I will change the final 12 to 16 weeks based on who's programming it and how many fields of play there are, because he needs to be bigger and stronger. Because again, he's walking around next to Dallin and Jason, and there's a height discrepancy, but that, just the size and the muscle mass is still crazy, man. It's crazy.
Like, yeah, I mean, you think of just some of those guys, and like, no disrespect to Harry, like he's in phenomenal shape, but like when you see Dallin coming off, and like, even was it like Toby Buckland or something, and Dallin came, and Jason all came in at a similar time from, I can't remember what the workout was. It was something with maybe it was a rope climb one. And like Dallin and Jay, it was like someone got, like Play-Doh, like Morla or whatever, like the Play-Doh that you used to have in school that you hardened as clay, and just like stuck it on in lumps on these places that like the other guys just didn't have it. It's just crazy.
It is. And that is it's a big advantage in all areas, but it can be a disadvantage if the programming lends itself to be. I just think it's a tough field right now to be in with that set of events to break that top 10. It's a really close though. It's close. No cigar.
It was another interesting thing that we kind of talked about over there was you had this sort of sanguine view of him finishing 11th and the emotion that he could have versus the emotion he should have, based around the fact that if he had started in 15th and clawed his way back to 11th, he'd be delighted. But because he was in 10th and dropped to 11th, it's inevitable that he'd feel disappointed.
Absolutely right. Like we've spoken about this a little bit. I think it's almost not worth looking at the leaderboard until Sunday night, because why does it matter? Why, if you're 2-0 up at half time, doesn't matter if you lose 3-2. Don't get me wrong. If there's foot races or you need to beat somebody to get on the podium or break this, I get it. But for the large part, you just need to focus on yourself and crack on. And yeah, Harry had some of his strongest events first. But if it had been the competition been flipped the other way around, he'd have climbed from 17th to 11th, and everyone would have been going, "Wow, that's amazing!"
Yeah.
You know. So, you know, we will dissect the workouts properly. I'm sure Harry's been lying in bed twiddling his thumbs thinking about them. And
is that what you call it?
Yeah, something like that. And we'll it's about that size, I think, and we'll build it back up. We'll build it back up and see how we go. As I say, right now we actually don't have.
So you haven't debriefed then? Like you haven't sat down and you had, I guess, a quick like happy? No, yeah, whatever, and then just like see you in a couple of weeks.
A little bit. I mean, Harry got straight on the beers. I don't know if you saw that. He works hard, play hard. And so we haven't properly debriefed. No, we've got plans to do that on Wednesday next week. But yeah.
And have you just got a notebook filled with like event like your own things that you do? Because I guess when if you're withholding certain information from him in case it affects his performance, I'm guessing you don't greet him after event 2. I'm like, well, what happened in like you just keep all that to yourself, just like, right, event 3, or like, let's recover or whatever. I'm guessing you don't recap the events as he comes off. So is there events and he doesn't even know what you're thinking about?
Normally, to be fair, it actually goes the other way. So if an event goes really well, he normally comes off, we're pumped, whatever. We say, right, let's just go recover. Like, we'll debrief later. If an event goes poorly, sometimes he likes to know a little bit. He's cooling down. We're both a bit pissed off for whatever reason, or like, you know, reserved, say, maybe not pissed off. And then he looks at me, he's like, come on, tell me what happened? What did I do wrong? Or where were we not good enough? That kind of thing. I give him my thoughts. We leave it for like 5 to 10, and then we go, right, come on, time to move on and crack on. So it doesn't matter, right? As you say.
Yeah. So with packing on that size, extra size and stuff, is that just like way more strength training, basically?
Yeah, I think it's different. Like, yes, it is, but also,
do you look at other sports? Like, would you look at other sports? Like, is that where you get will you look at strength specific people, like those types of disciplines, to bring it over to what you're doing?
Yes, certainly. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of we have. I won't show you because it's the secret sauce, but we have what we call the AOD programming principles book, which is basically our Bible of training methodologies and integrated into CrossFit. So it's not actually, there is a lot in there about CrossFit, but we know about CrossFit. It's to do with, how to implement other things to CrossFit. So for example, something we've been working on.
That thing you put up in your story last night that I screenshot and zoomed in on so I could read it.
One of them, what I had on that screen at the time was
conjugative,
comprehensive analysis and application. Like, so that's something that we were doing leading into the games. It worked super well, but it's something that I want to pour a little bit more effort into, especially in the off season, starting next week. So we'll see how that goes.
Cool. When he's training then, so how, because he's obviously in the gym a lot and Amy's in the gym a lot, do they share programming ever? Do you do like, all right, Fraser, you do Wednesday for the two of them and they can race each other? Or like, is that just different points of the season or what?
So there's two things. One, because we obviously have this divide of the programming companies, but under one gym, and it's like, well, it kind of seems stupid, but what we do is we try and still maximize the environment at certain points. So we have Wednesday morning intervals where pretty much the guys, a few of us write those across multiple things, but everyone comes in and does those. And then we have what we call athlete camp on a Saturday. I don't quite know how I got that name, but basically it's all the people that want to are aspiring to compete at semifinals and above all come in, and we basically do this big session all together, and we try and make use of that environment. And that does fluctuate between coaches who's programming that, and we do it in little blocks and we all communicate it. And then normally when Harry and Amy get to within, it's different now because Amy's been doing it in WFP. We feel like, you know, we've been left with a cooler, stronger boy. Do you know what I mean? On the other side of the pond. But take before Texas last year, their first appearance at the CrossFit Games, Fraser and I did bang our heads together a lot, and they were training together a lot more, especially that like 12 weeks leading up to the games.
Yeah.
Where you're doing more sport specific pieces, and you want to race. And what's great, to be honest, about those two specifically is that one, you've got the male female barrier in that it doesn't actually matter if they win or lose to one another because they're not competing against one another. And secondly, they're both quite good at the other person's weaknesses. So it kind of brings them up a little bit.
Yeah.
So that has worked really well. And I think they both enjoy it as well. I know Amy really enjoys it. She loves it, actually.
Yeah, I was doing this all fucking every time I saw Harry. I just could not stop saying Harry fucking Lightfoot. Every time I saw him, it's just
Lightfoot.
Every time I saw him, it was just like Harry fucking Lightfoot. It's just.
No, I think his I don't know if it was his Road to the Games. I don't know if you watched that, but people were definitely like wanting to see him, like fans and stuff.
Oh, but it's just like the good thing about Harry, like I had Harry on my show about, I don't know, maybe 18 months ago or something. I can't remember when, but before, it was either before the game. I think it might have been before semi-finals. But he was great. Like I always enjoy talking to him because he's a character. Like he's actually got a personality, and he doesn't hide his personality, and he doesn't think, oh, people will think I'm weird if I say that. Like he just fucking says it, and it's funny and it's entertaining. And I think that, like, that's his. Whatever happens on the floor, whatever. But like, that's his USP, is the fact that he has something different that other people like. He's a European equivalent of like Dallin, who has a sense of humor and can use it, and is like quick-witted and can say things that are funny, and he's also entertaining. So like when you see him in the Road to the Games, like he was properly entertaining throughout that whole thing. And I think what's more entertaining for me is like in my head, I was picturing Ian with the camera just being like, what?
Yeah.
Or like picturing the people editing it being like, do we leave this in? Or like, what's
you should have seen some of the shit that didn't make it to that episode.
I bet.
I was worried. I was nervous.
Yeah, but he's great. Like he's one of the best for, he's just really, really, really funny. And I guess it's like, I'm probably biased because we probably have a similar sense of humor, but like I just find him really entertaining. I think if he can keep matching and improving his on-field performances and get more exposure off the field, I think he has the potential to be huge, because like he's got years left as well, and he's just seems to be just getting better every year. Well,
you hope so. Like one thing he's acutely aware of is that is not to be pessimistic, but you know, it's tough. It's a tough game, and probably the CrossFit careers will probably get a bit shorter now, because I just think that with the way the standard's going and the demands of the competition, you might struggle to see people qualifying like 10 years in a row now, just because it is brutal and the standard is always improving. But yeah, he's hopefully still at the start of his CrossFit career, and he got, you probably saw this, he got signed by Adidas, and that went live a few days before the games. And that really is why I call it the start of his career, because now he is officially, you know, being paid to train and to compete. And beforehand, it was just him living off savings and also work that he was doing here. So yeah, it's really great.
He doesn't look impressive, but he's super fit. He looks pretty impressive, in fairness. I think it's all relative. When you see, like you say, when you see him beside Jason and Dallin, you're like, all right, whatever. But if you see him just walking around the street or in the gym with his top off, you're like, oh, that guy's pretty good.
Agreed.
Yeah, I just feel like he's the type of guy that can pretty easily entertain an entire room, and also enjoys entertaining an entire room.
Yeah, he does with a beer or two down him. He does like to be
like, I'm a teacher, and I can pick. I know what kid he was. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's the guy that as he was older, you were like, the teacher would be like, oh, I kind of like that guy. He's you know, like make the day entertaining.
Yeah.
But you're also like, shut the fuck up. But you're like, yeah, keep going.
That was actually kind of funny, but yeah, I have to. We're in school right now, so yeah.
Yeah, I'll meet you for pints on Friday. Is that the reason then? Is the pressure and all that kind of stuff of like the potential shortening of careers with how difficult it is to qualify, plus all the extra stuff? Like, is that because he didn't do World Fitness Project this year? Like he's not involved in this one. Is that a conscious decision about like loading and needing an off season basically for him?
Yeah. So for me, Harry didn't get a pro card because he wasn't up in the rankings. He probably will be close now, I imagine. But anyway, I don't really know. Basically, it came out and he was like, I was like, everyone was asking, what are you going to do? You can do both. And I was like, no, we're not going to do both because, like you said, Harry needs time. If he wants to be the best, we haven't just come to make up the numbers. He wants to keep climbing the ranks. And to climb the ranks higher, it gets harder the higher you go. You know, you can't just go, oh, well, he was 21st last year, 11th this year, so he'll probably be second next year. That'll be great. It's like, that's not how it works. Okay. And with the WFP schedule, it was just too much, I think, for him to get better. And also, it's a lot of travel. He doesn't travel well outside of Cornwall, let alone outside the UK. So, you know, I think we will see what next year brings. From what I'm hearing, if you want to go into all speculations and stuff, there's going to be these 4 WFP events next year. They're going to be lined up to make it nigh impossible to do the CrossFit Games well. And one of them is going to be in Australia post CrossFit Games or something ridiculous. So even though it's not going to be exclusive, I feel like, and apparently CrossFit are bringing about regionals, I don't even know. And so it feels like they're both saying, CrossFit and WFP are being like, hey guys, pick a side, like pick a side. And unless you want to cash in because you're happy with where you are on that leaderboard, I think doing both is a lot. It's really asking a lot of your body. And I don't think you can train. I'm not saying you can't get better because guys obviously are, but I think it's not the most optimal or efficacious way to do it.
I guess it depends where your priorities are. If you're like, I'm here for a short time, not a long time, let's make as much as possible, let's get as much exposure as possible, whatever, versus I really want to be the best possible athlete I can be. They're two different paths.
No, you're absolutely right. And that's not me poo-pooing anybody, because we're on that second path. That's what Harry wants to do.
Yeah.
So that's my advice for it. And yeah, so that's what we do.
I did hear that Australian event said no, so I don't think that's going to be.
Oh, really?
But I don't know. I have also heard that regionals thing too. That
you have heard that.
Yeah, I have heard that. It probably won't be called regionals, but yeah, I have heard that.
Well, why have any consistency at all?
Yeah, let's call them flip-flops and just let's just call them whatever we want.
But what then? Will it be a 3-week open straight into regionals? Surely they have to bring back an intermediate stage, or those workouts are going to have to be pretty legit.
Yeah, but I mean, if you just have 2 regionals in Europe, that's the same as the 2 semifinals. You know what I mean? If you have 2 regionals in America, it's just the same as the 2 semifinals, whatever, 2 years ago, you know, East and West. Like, what's the difference? Syndicate and where was the other one? West Coast?
Well, it used to be 5-week open, didn't it, for regional? It just allows you to do a little bit more with the tests.
Yeah, but I mean, when they had the 2 semifinals in America, it was 3 weeks.
When was that? Last year?
Yeah, like they had quarterfinals, but I mean, it's the same fucking people. Like, it's not like
quarterfinals. No, dude. Quarterfinals is fucking great. Quarterfinals is getting rid of quarterfinals is the worst thing CrossFit have done for, in my opinion, for the growth of like the sport especially within Europe, because the European standard and the uptake is so high. Not that it's not high in other places, but because the field is so massive and there's so many countries trying to pile in there, taking away the quarterfinals just ruins like grassroots CrossFit, because anyone who's serious about competing, the open benchmark is way too low and the semifinals benchmark is way too high. And this quarterfinals benchmark is exactly where Harry started. He went 400th in Europe in the quarterfinals, 125th, 4th. And those 3 years were crucial for his like progression and development, because semifinals were a way off, but the open wasn't really challenging enough in terms of, you know, the line that you had to hit the top 10% or whatever it was. And I think that a lot of people who are on the cuff will have really found it hard without quarterfinals, and I think they should bring it back.
It's funny because American affiliate owners and coaches don't seem to give a fuck about quarterfinals. They're like, yeah, whatever. But like English and European affiliate owners and coaches are like, no, we need quarterfinals. Like, we need it. And I think it's just because the different ages of the communities in regards to CrossFit. That like the Americans they've been through that phase. They've already passed that phase of affiliates and sport and everything else. Whereas like here, we're just getting to that phase. We're like, no, bring that. We really want that thing. Like, that was really good. It's like, I like being 4,515th in, France or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, it's an interesting conundrum. Like, even JR, who owns Crash in America, and Johnny, who owns 179, they do a show with me pretty regularly, and Johnny's like, open, quarterfinals, semifinals. He's like, it's not that fucking hard. And then JR is like, 3 weeks is plenty. Because he's just like, he's like, as a test, he's like, yeah, it probably needs to be 7 weeks. But he's like, as an affiliate owner, fuck that. Like, he was like,
okay. As both, let me sit on the fence right here. 3 weeks is perfect for the affiliate.
Yeah.
But the quarterfinals is perfect for the grassroots CrossFit, for up and coming individuals. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm with Johnny on that one. I'm definitely with Johnny on that one.
I agree.
So that'd be good. I'll be interested to see what they do. As always.
I think it's probably tricky for a gym like JR's though too, where he has like maybe 40 people that qualify for quarterfinals, and then it's kind of like, cool.
Yeah.
Like, logistical nightmare again.
It is. No, don't get me wrong. That weekend's a busy weekend, but it is fun. It is fun. So
all right, listen, thanks. Geez, an hour and 20. I really appreciate you coming on. It's been great to get to talk to you.
Yeah, no problem, mate.
I'm gonna do it again sometime, I'm sure. Good luck with the off season and everything else. About 2 hours ago, whatever, the CrossFit where 179 CrossFit video went up on YouTube. So when you finish watching this, you can go and watch that. It's 15 minutes and it's really good. And I made it. And I rarely say that stuff I made is really good. So it has to be.
Proud of this one.
I did these two. I did one in Leamington. I did this one, and they're probably the best thing I've ever made, apart from my first kid.
Yeah, and it's still close.
Yeah,
it's still close.
Yeah, my third kid's okay too.
We're that's cool. We're a little AOD plug. We're going to we're actually going to 179.
Oh, cool.
For like a training day, where we're taking a load of guys over, and that is 27th of September. So yeah, that'll be cool. I'm looking forward. I haven't been down there yet, but Johnny came up to Blueprint last year and did one of the L1s, ran it.
Oh yeah.
And he's a great guy, and it seems like a really cool gym. So
it's like, it's great. It's basically like a fucking rogue showroom.
I saw that was in your caption, and I was like, we're gonna have a good time.
It's crazy. He has a plaque, like he has a Rogue Fitness Gym plaque. Yeah. And he's like, that's the best gift I've ever gotten.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Like, what we I'm going on a tangent slightly. What do you know about, and how do we get Blueprint to do an open announcement so we can do Harry and Amy 1v1?
Oh,
is that even a thing? Because
you'd have to contact. You'd have to. Actually, what a good shout would be to suggest, this is going to be harsh for you to hear now because you own Blueprint, but would be to suggest that you bring Amy and Harry to Method, because they had the highest signups in the UK. And like second in the world or Europe, second in Europe, I think, signed some Portuguese one that owns like 12 gyms or something.
Yeah.
And 179 is do you know what? Method or 179, you'd have a good shout if you said, we'll bring them down there, because 179 has been in some CrossFit videos recently, and Johnny's on seminar, and they had really high signups for the size of their gym, especially. Yeah. They were second in the UK behind Method, and they were like fifth in Europe or something, and Method was first in the UK and second or first in the world, like in Europe, I can't remember. You'd probably have a better shout doing that than your own, unless you know that your signups were high, because I imagine they look at all that stuff. But Blueprint had a good participation rate at the games this year. Yeah, but that doesn't fucking translate to open signups, does it? I'm
No,
telling you, I'm
that's
just
not
telling you the
cool.
way CrossFit look. It's cynical, but I'm just telling you the way they look at it.
I can't believe he sat here for an hour and 27.
Oh, you fucking know he left and came back. You think he heard me call him funny and didn't comment?
Yeah,
That was like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
All right, thanks very much, Mike. Really appreciate it. Thanks everybody for watching. Go and watch that 179 video if you haven't. I'd really appreciate it, and share it while you're at it too. What day is it? Thursday, tomorrow, Friday. I think Sevon might be doing something about Colton and World Fitness Project tomorrow.
Okay.
And then Kill Tater is on Saturday.
Sorry, I've got one more story, and then I promise I'll go away. I saw that you guys on your recaps at the games, someone sent me a video, and put that. And you guys were like, they were talking about Harry and how he's doing quite well, because he was doing well after day one, even more so. And someone was like, some American, I was like, oh, who coaches that guy? And I think it was you. You said, oh, it's Mike from AOD, blah, blah, blah. And they pull my Instagram up.
Oh,
then,
yeah, it was your...
And then they go, someone goes, hey, click on that one of his girlfriend in a bathing suit. And then they go on it, and there is my girlfriend in a bathing suit, Sarah. And they swipe, and it's me in my like spandex on a paddleboard from underneath. And you guys are laughing. And then I saw Savon on the floor the next day, and I just whispered in his ear, I hear you've been looking at my girlfriend in a bathing suit. And he was kind of like, who is it? And then he was laughing, man. So that was good. That was a good.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, thanks everyone for watching. I think about us. Good luck. God bless. Everything else. Oh, thanks Deathboy for the jumper too. And Biomax,
Thanks,
CPW,
guys.
and Frog Grips, CPW 16, and Sentinel, because it's just no offense, AOD, but it's the best coaching around.
Okay.